Welcome to School of Advanced Chemistry. I am Khadar Choktai. Today I am going to explain Cambridge O-Level Chemistry Paper P1 to October-November 2020 with tips and tricks. How to solve it? Let's see over here. Let's talk about question number 1. During a titration experiment, an acid is transferred into the burette. The diagram shows part of the burette at the start of the titration and at the end point. On the right hand side, this is the picture that is at the end. On the left hand side is the picture of the burette at the beginning. So as you know that we start reading from top to bottom. As far as the reading of the burette is concerned, we start to read from top to the bottom. So what is the volume of the acid used during this titration or during the titration? So what is the reading over here? 22, 22.1, 0.2, 0.3 and 0.4. 22.4 at the beginning and finally 27.1 to 3, 27.3 over here. What is the difference? 27.3 minus 22.4 and answer is 4.9. So B is the correct option. Question number 2. When calcium carbonate is added to dilute hydrochloric acid, carbon dioxide gas is released. 3 sets of apparatus are shown. Set number 1, that is having the mass balance. Cotton wool, that is allowing the escape of carbon dioxide gas. Apparatus number 2, that is having a tab funnel with the inverse lock, and here is the gas syringe that is used to collect the volume of the carbon dioxide gas. Apparatus 3, that is having thistle funnel, but that is having an open open passage funnel with measuring cylinder dipped into the water tap. So in this, the third one especially, you can see that here is a mistake. The thistle funnel is having no obstacles. The gas CO2 form will go in two ways. Number 1 into the thistle funnel. Number 2, it will go into the sum of the part will go into the measuring cylinder. Which sets of apparatus are suitable together with the stopwatch for the following the rate of reaction and so on. So stopwatch is used to measure the time. This one apparatus is used to measure the mass versus time will give us a graphical picture that will give up the graph almost like that. You can see that it's a mass and versus time. The mass, that is going to decrease with respect to time. So its curve, its line, almost it will be like that. In case of volume of the gas versus time, its curve should be or will be like that. You can say the volume of the gas versus time, it will be almost like with the increasing pattern. So with the help of this curve, by drawing the tangents, and we can find the rate of reaction and so on. So 1 and 2 are the only 2 apparatuses. Those can be used for the accurate determination of the rate of reaction for this experiment, for this reaction and so on. So B is the correct option. Question number 3. Chromatography can be used to separate and identify the dyes present in the mixture. Which statement is correct? A dye with an RF value of 1.2 can be present in the mixture. No. RF value start from 0 and ends at 1. So any chromatogram that is going to develop, going to show different spot for the chromatography, that may have 0 RF value, or it may have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 and so on. And maximum its answer should be that is equal to 1. So it cannot be 1.2. The next one is a dye could have the different RF value. The different solvent was used. Yes, it is true. A dye, if it is we are going to examine a compound with the help of two different solvents. Its solubility will be different in two different solvents, so its RF value will definitely be different, and so on. So B is the correct option. However, we can see the C and D. A blue dye have the same RF value. No, there is no connection of the color with the RF values. RF value depends upon the solubility of the solute into the solvent. So it's wrong. Chromatography can only be used for the colored substances such as dyes. No. For example, we can identify amino acids. Those are colorless substances, and they can be visualized with the help of locating agent like ninhydrin spray, and so on. Question number 4. Petroleum, crude oil, is separated into useful fraction by the fraction distillation. The position at which fraction X and Y are collected from the fractionating column are shown in this diagram over here. Which statement is correct? The temperature increases up the column. No, it's wrong. As we move upward the column, temperature decreases. Number 2, X condenses at low temperature, then Y. Yes, as I told you, as we move upward, temperature decreases. So X is going to condense itself at low temperature as compared to the condensation of the Y. B is the correct option. However, we can check the further one. The next two, C and D. X has higher boiling point than Y. No, the bottom one is having high boiling point. The bottom one is having the longest chain of the carbon atoms, higher value of the mass, and so on. So again, it is confirmed that B is the correct option. Aqueous zinc chloride is tested with various reagents. Which observation is correct? Aqueous ammonia gives a white precipitate which is soluble in excess region. Yes, it is true. This question is from, in the reference to the ATP alternative to the practicals. And in this case, you can say that zinc 2 positive ion, when it is treated with a few drop of aqueous ammonia, is going to make a white precipitate ZnOH twice. But in excess of ammonia, it becomes soluble. In excess NH3 aqueous, it becomes soluble. So A, postulate option A is the correct option, and so on. Question number 6. When aqueous sodium hydroxide is added to a solution, a white precipitate forms which dissolve when excess sodium hydroxide is added. So number 1, here is the indication. The white precipitate mean the metal ion should not be from the transition metal group. It may not be from the group 1. So it may not be from the group 1 family, and it cannot be the transition element. So remaining, there are two options. One is the aluminium positive ion, and the second one is calcium 2 positive ion. You know that on first stage, upon addition of the few drop of sodium hydroxide, a small amount of sodium hydroxide, both makes white precipitate. But upon addition of the excess NaOH, there is no dissolution. The precipitate of calcium does not dissolve. So aluminium, the precipitate of aluminium, that is aluminium hydroxide, it will be soluble. So in this case, A is the correct option. Question number 7. A sample of a gas occupied a volume 2 dm cube at room temperature and pressure. Which changes in the condition would both decrease the volume occupied by the gas? In this question, he is simply asking the relationship of the volume with respect to temperature and pressure. And you are very much familiar with the relationship. Volume is directly proportional to the temperature. According to Charles' law, you can say volume is inversely proportional to the pressure of the gas. So if you want to decrease the volume, then temperature should be decreased. It should be decreased. What about the pressure? Pressure is reciprocal to the volume, so this must be increased. pressure should be increased as it is reciprocal with respect to the volume. So temperature decreased and decrease and pressure increase. C is the correct option. Question number 8. An ion contains 20 electrons and has charge +3. For which element was the ion formed? Basically, you can see that after loss of 3 electrons, it is still having 20 electrons. So original number of electron is equal to E is equal to 23. It means that original number of proton is also equal to 23. It means that its atomic number is also 23. So open the data booklet or the product table. You can see that atomic number 23 goes to vanadium. Which statement is correct for next question? Diamond conduct electricity while graphite does not. No. I mean, it's a learning based question. It's a fact that diamond cannot conduct electricity. First one is the wrong one. Graphite has delocalized ions between its layer. Delocalized ion. No, not delocalized the ion. It has delocalized electrons, not the ions. It's wrong. In diamond, each carbon atom is joined to 3 other carbon atoms. No. In diamond, each carbon atom is joined with the 4 other carbon atoms. So again, it's wrong. The fourth one is the last one, so it will be correct. The layered structure of graphite make it slippery. Yes, it is true. Question number 10. Which material has the highest melting point? You know there are 4 options: ammonia, methane, sodium chloride and water. Ammonia, that is a simple molecular compound. It is having simple molecular structure. Again, methane is also having simple molecular structure. Sodium chloride is the ionic compound and it is having giant ionic structure. Water is again having simple molecular structure. So the distinct one, the different one is sodium chloride. And you know that an ionic compound that is having a giant ionic structure has more value of its melting and boiling point. So C is the correct option. Which statement describes ionic bonds? A lattice of ion in the sea of electron, electrostatic force of attraction between oppositely charged ions. The C, sharing of electron between atom to gain a noble gas configuration. D, transfer of electron from atoms to non-metals, atom of the non-metal to the atom of a metal. Once again, ionic bond is a force of attraction that holds oppositely charged particles together. What is the definition of ionic bond? I mean, the electrostatic force of attraction that holds opposite ions together, that is said to be the ionic bond. So B is the correct option in this case. Which substance contain at least one double bond? At least one. I mean, it may have more than one. I'm going to write the Lewis structure. I'm going to write the Lewis structure of C2H4. It's you can see the displayed formula. It is having one double bond, O2, one double bond, C2H6, 2 carbon, 3 hydrogen to each carbon. It is not having any sort of double bond, and CO2 is mean it is having 2 double bond. So 1, 2, 3. I mean this one, and this one. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. C is the correct option in this case. Magnesium will react with aqueous copper sulfate to form copper and aqueous magnesium sulfate. Correct. What is the correct equation for this reaction? Correct equation, let me see. Magnesium plus copper sulfate. It's a displacement reaction, and magnesium is more active than copper. It will displace the copper. Yes, it is true. Copper and magnesium sulfate. I think the first one is the correct one. Let's see the further. B, magnesium plus, yes, Cu2SO4. Cu2SO4 is the wrong formula of copper sulfate. The formula of copper sulfate is CuSO4. As you know, it is having 2 positive charge. SO4 is having 2 negative charge. And there is a cancellation of charge, and you will get CuSO4. And so this is the wrong one. Come towards the C1. magnesium CuSO4, copper Mg2. Again, it's wrong. There is no Mg2SO4. The formula of MgSO4 is like simple MgSO4, not Mg2SO4. So it's wrong. The next one, again, this formula is wrong. It is confirmed that 13 question has a correct option. A sample of magnesium hydroxide has a mass 4.63. How many mole of magnesium hydroxide are there? You know that. You are having the mass. You are going to find the mole. What is the formula that is having mole and mass? Mole and mass, right? It is mole equal to mass over mR. Mass over mR. So I'm going to write it over here. What is the mass? The mass is 4.63. What is the mR? mR, MgOH twice. MgOH twice. And here mR is equal to, wait a minute, Mg is 12 plus OH mass is 17. 16 plus 1, 17 into 2, 34. So 34 plus 12, that is equal to 46. Sorry, I'm really sorry. It's not 12, it's 24. It's 24. 24 for magnesium plus AR of magnesium is 24. 24 plus 17 into 2, you can say this time, is a 58. It's a 58 if I'm not wrong. 4.63 divided by 58, that is equal to 0.798. 0.798. B is the correct option. That is now the exact one option. Phase statement is correct. Question number 15. The concentration of the solution is expressed in dm cube per mole. No, it is expressed in mole per dm cube. The empirical formula of a compound always give the actual number of each type of atoms in a one molecule. Empirical formula gives us, what is the definition of empirical formula? Empirical formula gives us the smallest or the simplest whole number ratio. Simplest mean not the actual one, so it's wrong. Molecular formula of the compound always contain more atoms than empirical formula. I think it is not true always. For example, I'm going to write it over here. CH3CH2OH. This is the formula of ethanol. And what is its molecular formula? C2H is equal to 6 and O is equal to 1, right? And its molecular formula. And what is its empirical formula? Same one. Same is the empirical formula in this case. So it's again wrong. It is not true. It is not the case that is always true. The relative atomic mass of an element. The last one is the correct D1. It's a definition of relative atomic mass. The average mass of an atom of an element divided by the 1/12th mass of the carbon-12, and so on. Question number 16, which sample contains most atoms? As far as my opinion is concerned, whenever you are asked to find the most atoms, don't find the number of atoms. That is a lengthy procedure. You should find the mole of atoms. Moles of atoms. You should find mole of atom. That will give the same gesture. How to find the mole of atom? Let's see. It's a water. I'm going to write this formula H2O. In this molecule, in this water, let's suppose in 1 mole of H2O, here is 2 mole of hydrogen plus 1 mole of oxygen, 3 mole of oxygen atom. Total atoms are there. 3 mole of H2O, and here is 0.5 mole of H2O. 3 into 0.5. 0.5 into 3, that is equal to 1.3 moles of atom. Moles of atoms. The next one is CO2. 1 mole of CO2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. 3 ones are 3. 3 moles of atoms in case of CO2. In case of methane, CH4, it is again 1 mole. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. 5 into 1 is equal to 5 moles of atom. In the last case, it's HCl. and it is 2 mole. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 2 2 are 4. 4 moles of atom. So the highest answer goes to the CH4, that is having the most atoms. C is the correct option. Question number 17. The equation shows the production of iron by reduction of iron 3 oxide. Here is the equation. 80 tons of the iron 3 oxide produces 50 tons of iron. What is the percentage yield? What is the percentage yield? You know the formula of the percentage yield. The percentage yield is equal to experimental yield divided by calculated yield multiplied by 100. So experimental yield is given, that is 50 tons, and I'm not going to change my calculation into the tons. I'm going to suppose it that these are grams, right? So for example, if they are grams, I'm going to find the calculated answer. This answer is the experimental answer. Let's suppose it's 50 gram. I am going to find the mass in grams, not in tons, and I'm going to find how much iron should be formed. How much iron should be formed as a result of 80 grams of iron 3 oxide. I'm going to use unitary method, or you can say the ratio proportion method, and I'm going to find the answer of iron. I'm going to write iron on the right hand side, then equal, and Fe2O3 I am putting it on the left hand side. First two information of these entities, iron and iron 3 oxide, are taken from the balanced chemical equation. From balanced chemical equation, what is the mass of 2Fe? The one Fe is having 50, let me check it from the data booklet, 56. 56 into 2, that is equal to 112. According to this balanced chemical equation, the mass of iron in equation, is 112 gram. What is the mass of Fe2O3? So 56 into 2 plus 3 into 16, its mass is 160. Its mass is 160. So 160 gram Fe3O4. If there is no, let's suppose, impurity, and this whole procedure is happening 100% efficient, and so at this time the 160 gram of Fe2O3 is going to yield iron that is equal to 112 gram. 1 gram of Fe2O3 will give 112 over 160, and at the moment we are using 80 grams. I'm going to suppose tons, that is let's suppose they are grams. 80 grams, 112 over 160 into 80. There is no need to convert tons into grams or grams into ton. So what is the answer? 160, 112 divided by 160 multiplied by 80. The answer is 56. So calculated that should be formed, that was expected to be formed, that is 56 tons or gram, that is one and the same thing. So I am going to find the percentage yield. Experimentally, iron that was formed experimentally, that is equal to 50. Expected according to the calculation, that was 56 into 100. So 50 divided by 56 multiplied by 100, that is equal to 89.28. D is the correct option. D is the correct option. Question number 18. Aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrodes. The current is constant and anode is weighed at regular time interval. Which graph is obtained when the mass of anode is plotted against time? You know that this copper electrode is non-inert electrode. It's a non-inert electrode. So in case of non-inert electrode, anode dissolves itself, and this dissolution is in a uniform way. So this mass of anode will decrease with the passage of time in uniformly. So C is the correct option. The next one is the diagram shows electrolysis of the mixture of aqueous copper 2 nitrate and aqueous silver nitrate AgNO3 aqueous, electrode X and Y are inert. Copper is above silver in the reactivity series. It means that copper is more reactive than silver. Copper is more active than silver. It can be deduced that number one, which one is going to initially deposit and at what electrode, you can say it's a 2-1. It can be deduced that one, that is silver is less reactive, so silver is initially deposited at electrode, and the second one is electrode should be, as you know, it is a positive charge and it will go towards the negative terminal, and that is the cathode one. That is the cathode one. I mean the negative one. In this case, it's Y. So silver and Y, D is the correct option. 20. Energy profile diagram of a chemical reaction is shown. What is the value of activation energy of a reaction? In this case, you can see that energy of activation for the forward reaction is calculated, that is starting from the reactant towards the peak of the curve. That is showing the energy, that is 250. Initial energy of the reactant is 150, higher minus lower, and this answer must be as a positive integer. So that is equal to 100. Positive 100 is the energy of activation in this reaction. That is the simplest calculation, and so on. Question number, the next one, 21. Which statement describes the conversion of magnesium and atom to magnesium ion? I am going to write its equation. Magnesium goes to magnesium 2 positive ion plus 2 electron. So, which statement describes this conversion? Charge change is reduction because there has been a gain of electron? No. Number one, it's a loss of electron, so it must be oxidation. No reduction and no reduction. Option B and D may be the correct options. Come towards B. Changes oxidation because there is a loss of electron. Yes, it is true. So B is the correct option. Question number 22. When water is liquid, it ionizes slightly, like that. The forward reaction is endothermic reaction. I mean, its backward reaction will be exothermic. It means that if the forward reaction is endothermic, the reverse reaction will be exothermic. When temperature of the water is increased, which changes take place? I mean, if you are going to increase the temperature, increase in temperature favors the endothermic side or endothermic reaction. So by changing the temperature, by raising the temperature, equilibrium will shift towards right hand side. This is the right hand side. This is the left hand side of the equation, and this is the right hand side of the equation. Yes, it is true. It will move towards the right hand side. Water becomes acidic. I mean, more H positive ion are going to form. Yes, it is true. But acidic mean there must be more H positive ion than OH negative ion. You can see from this equation, OH negative ion concentration is exactly equal to, or the mole of OH negative ion is exactly equal to the mole of H positive ion. Those are being formed at the same time. So this solution will be neutral. It will not be the acidic. It will not be the alkaline, because the concentration or the mole of OH negative ion and H positive ion will remain same. So first and two options are the incorrect options. More water molecules form ion. Yes, molecule will change into ion. That is true. It is going to shift. Equilibrium is going to shift towards right hand side. Yes, it is true. So 3 only, I mean D is the correct option. Which salt could be prepared by precipitation method? It must be an insoluble salt. How many salts are insoluble? I mean, you can say like AgCl, AgBr, AgI, and same is the case PbCl2, PbBr2, PbI2, and barium sulfate, PbSO4, lead sulfate, and mostly metal carbonates, and so on. these are the famous insoluble salt. Let's see over here. Number one option is the barium sulfate. Yes, it can be prepared with the help of by the method that is said to be precipitation method. Lead chloride, as I told you, yes, it is the true one. Copper 2 chloride, no, that is the soluble salt. It's water soluble. Zinc sulfate, no. Zinc sulfate is once again the water soluble. So 1 and 2, A is the correct option. Silver is below hydrogen in the reactivity series. Which row describe the chemical used and method of separation used to prepare a pure sample of silver chloride? Once again, you can see that this silver chloride is a solid, an insoluble compound or salt. So its method should be the precipitation method. Two aqueous components should be there. Those are going to bond AgCl plus a soluble salt, a soluble acid, and so on. Now let's see over here two soluble things. Silver is not soluble in water. Again, silver is not soluble in water. Silver nitrate soluble, ACl soluble, yes. Silver nitrate soluble and ACl soluble. So C or D may be the correct option. Now come toward the second column. Here is the crystallization and here is the filtration. So if you are going to prepare an insoluble salt, then the separation method is filtration. Then separation method is filtration. Filtration is the only method by which we can separate the insoluble salt from the soluble liquid or mixture, you can say, and so on. So D is the correct option. Ammonia is manufactured by Haber process. The forward reaction is exothermic. Once again, reverse reaction will be endothermic. It means that reverse reaction will be endothermic. Which statement about the Haber process is correct? Low pressure is used to shift the position of equilibrium towards right. It's a right hand side, it's a left hand side, and here are 4 moles, here are 2 moles. On lowering the pressure, equilibrium will shift towards higher moles, towards the side of the higher mole. So upon lowering the pressure, equilibrium will shift towards the left hand side, not the right hand side. At higher temperature, it's an exothermic. As I have told you, the higher temperature favors the side of endothermic. So high temperature again shift the equilibrium towards the reactant side, towards left hand side, not towards the right hand side. An iron catalyst is used to shift the position of equilibrium. No. Catalyst never shifts the equilibrium, the position of equilibrium. Its function is to increase the rate of reaction of the both side reaction. So again, it's the wrong one. The last one is the correct option. 26. Table contains some fact about sulfur dioxide, sulfuric acid, and comments on these facts. Which row is correct? In the manufacturing of sulfuric acid, sulfur react with oxygen to make sulfur trioxide. No, it's wrong. Sulfur dioxide is formed in first step. That is said to be the roasting one. The second one, nickel is used as a catalyst. No. V2O5, vanadium pentoxide is used as a catalyst. So B is also incorrect option. Sulfuric acid is used in the car batteries. Yes, it is true. Now come toward the second column. This increases the efficiency of the petrol engine. No, it has no relationship with the efficiency of the petrol that is burning in the engine. So again, this one. Now the right hand side is wrong. The last option, D option, correct option. The use of low sulfur petrol is beneficial because it minimizes the formation of acid rain. Yes, it is true. The burning of sulfur going to increase or contribute toward the acidic rain. The second one is sulfur dioxide is acidic because it's oxide of non-metal. Yes, most of the non-metal oxide are acidic. D is the correct option. An atom of which element has same electronic configuration, number of electron. Electronic configuration means number of electron, as an atom of an ion of strontium. As an an atom of an ion of the strontium. Strontium belongs to group number 2. Strontium belongs to group number 2, and it is having 38 electrons. You can see it from the data booklet, from the product table. It is having 38 electron. So strontium is having 38 atomic number or original number of electrons. In case of strontium 2 positive, because it belongs to the group number 2, it will make 2 positive charge ion. Its ion will be 2 positive. Now the remaining electron are equal to 38 minus 2, that is equal to 36. So which one? This atom is having 36 electron. I am going to check it from the periodic table. That is krypton. The next one. Metals have high melting point. What is reason for this? Again, the melting point and boiling point is because of the nature of bonding and structure. Right? So the bonding of the metal is the metallic bonding, and the structure of the metal is the joint metallic structure. Let's see what is the appropriate reason. Their atoms are joined by strong covalent. Wrong. There is no any sort of covalent bond in the pure metallic lattice. Number 2, B, they have strong forces of attraction between negative ions and delocalized electron. There are no negative ions in the metals. So it's wrong. They have strong force of attraction between negative ions and positive ion. No. This attraction is known as ionic bond. There are no negative ions, as I told you. The next one is they have strong forces of attraction between positive ion and delocalized electron. Yes, it is the definition of the metallic bond. So D is the correct option. What happens when strip of silver is immersed in aqueous copper 2 sulfate? Silver is less reactive than copper. So it cannot displace the copper from its aqueous solution from its molten solution. So there is no any sort of reaction. Bubble of the gas, no reaction occur. Yes, there will be no any sort of reaction. The next one, 30th one. 4 metals and hydrogens are arranged in order of decreasing reactivity. Yes, potassium, aluminium, zinc, hydrogen and copper. Which statement about these elements is correct? Aluminium is formed when aluminium oxide is heated with hydrogen. No. Aluminium is extracted with the help of, by the mean of electrolysis, not by the smelting, not by this heating procedure. So this is the wrong one. Copper displaces zinc from aqueous zinc sulfate. Copper displaces zinc. No. Zinc is more reactive than copper. So copper cannot displace the zinc. This is the wrong. Copper is formed when copper 2 oxide is heated with hydrogen. Copper 2 oxide, CuO plus H2. Is it feasible? Yes, it is feasible because hydrogen is more reactive than copper. C is the correct option. 31. Aluminium is extracted from its ore using electrolysis. Yes, it is true. Which statement about the electrodes used is correct? A. Anode is made of graphite. Yes, anode and cathode both are made up of graphite. So first one is the correct one. Anode is made of graphite. Yes, it is true. Next question. Gas X is present in a dry air and may contribute towards the global warming. A gas that is present in dry air and it also contributing towards the global warming, that should be carbon monoxide. No. Yes, methane. These are the acidic green gases. B is the appropriate and correct option in this case. 4 processes are used during the purification of water. Use of carbon, desalination, chlorination, filtration. The Purposes W, X, Y and Z. For these purposes are listed. W is disinfection, so it should be chlorination for disinfection. Removal of solid means it should be filtration. Removal of dissolved salt, that is desalination. And removal of taste and odor, that is use of carbon. So C, use of carbon should be the Z. Use of carbon should be the Z. And desalination Y. Desalination Y. And chlorination W. Chlorination W. So B is the correct option in this case. Next one. Propane undergoes substitution reaction when mixed with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light. Which compound could be formed when the propane and chlorine are mixed in the presence of ultraviolet light? Propane, I mean CH3, CH2 plus Cl2 goes to. There may be the substitution of one hydrogen with one halogen. There may be the substitution of 2 hydrogen, 3 hydrogen, 4, and all hydrogens may be substituted. So simply speaking, the new smallest, the simplest one, the compound will be CH3. I mean having same carbon atom, but it may have different hydrogen. CH2, CH, here is 3, here is 2, and Cl. I mean one hydrogen is replaced by one Cl and one HCl formation takes place. So one less hydrogen, one more chlorine. One less hydrogen, 2 less hydrogen, 2 chlorine, 3 less hydrogen, 3, and so on. So carbon should be the same. Hydrogen, if there is less number of hydrogen, then equal number of halogen should be there. So let's see over here. A is having 1, 2, 3 carbons, 2 less hydrogen, and 2 halogens are substituted. So it is the correct one. That is the appropriate one. B, why B is wrong? You can say there are how many carbons? Only 2 carbons are there. It's not correct, right? C1, 1, 2, 3 carbons are there, but there is no less hydrogen. So it is incorrect. The D1, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. No carbon, number of carbon atom must be the same, and so on. The next one. Hydrocarbon, that is CH3CH2, will undergo a number of chemical reactions, in which reaction will the carbon-carbon single bond to be broken. This one is the propene CH3CH double bond CH2, and it is going to react in different way, and the way in which its carbon-carbon single bond is to be broken, that is the one and only, that is combustion. Carbon-carbon single bond can be broken down as far as the O-level chemistry syllabus is concerned, that is one and only. It's said to be the combustion with plentiful supply of oxygen, or I mean at high temperature, reaction with oxygen at high temperature. Hydrocarbon compound can form the ring of the carbon atoms as well as chain. The structure of the 2 hydrocarbon rings are shown, P and Q. Which of the P and Q is unsaturated and which react with aqueous bromine? Unsaturated mean it is having carbon-carbon double bond. At least one carbon-carbon double bond should be there. Which react with aqueous bromine, it means that it again must have at least carbon-carbon double bond. So both properties belongs to Q. Both properties Q. D is the correct option. A sample of aqueous glucose is fermented with a yeast at 37 degrees Celsius in the absence of air. The main organic product X is purified by the fraction distillation. X is then oxidized by heating reflux with the acidified potassium magnate to give final product Y. What is the X1? You know, this reaction is going to yield, is going to born ethanol. The fermentation of the glucose is for the formation of ethanol, CH3CH2OH. This is your X1, and whenever you are going to heat it with the oxidizing agent, I mean upon oxidation, this alcohol this ethanol is going to form, is going to yield CH3, same carbon carboxylic acid, and the OH carbon will be changed into carboxylic group. So finally the Y will be this ethanoic acid. This ethanoic acid, so A is the correct option. Question number 38. The diagram shows the structure of compound called ethanoic anhydride, this one. When 1 mole of this ethanoic anhydride react with the water to form 2 mole of carboxylic acid, I mean H2O, you can write HOH, and it's going to make 2 mole of ethanoic acid. 2 mole of ethanoic acid, I'm going to make it over here, 2 mole of ethanoic acids, right? 2 mole of ethanoic acid. So, I mean, you can see that I'm going to break this as some sort of, you can say, as far as your level is concerned, you can call it an ester linkage. And if I'm going to break it, this H will be the part of this oxygen, this molecule that is said to be ethanoic acid, and this OH will be attached to this carbon. I mean, again, the second one, ethanoic acid is going to form. So 1 mole of this anhydride is going to react with 1 mole of water to give 2 moles of ethanoic acid. The next one is, this carboxylic acid reacts with ethanol to form an ester. If this acid is allowed to react with ethanol, this one, ethanol, what type of ester can be made? OH from this one, H from this one, and so there will be the ester, that is this one. Its name is written first, its name is written at the end. I mean, this is this one. 2 carbons over here, so it is ethyl. Here are again 2 carbons, is ethanoate. So ethyl ethanoate is the acid that is going to form. Now come towards the options. Number of mole of water is equal to 1. And ester is ethyl ethanoate, so this one, and B is the correct option. Come towards 39 question number 39. Burning polymer can cause atmospheric pollution. Which polymer on burning could produce nitrogen oxide? I mean, it is having nitrogen. If it is having nitrogen, then it may gives this normal simple burning. In an open air burning, you can say that will give the nitrogen oxide if there is the presence of nitrogen atom. This nylon is having the imide linkage. Imide linkage means this one linkage, and there is nitrogen atom initially present in the nylon, so it will give NO2, NO, and so on, nitrogen oxides on burning. So A is the correct option. Come toward the last one, the last question. The diagram shows a repeat unit of a polymer. This polymer, which row correct identify the monomer and type of polymerization involved in making this polymer. The type of polymerization, there is no any sort of group, this one, that is ester linkage. There is no any sort of this one imide linkage. So the second is only one option that is left behind is addition polymerization. It is addition polymerization. Now, how to make its monomer? I am going to shift these continuous bond towards back into the molecule. I am going to shift into the, I'm going to remove it, you can say, and shifting it back towards the molecule. So its structure will be, carbon-carbon double bond will be over here, HCH2 and CH3. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is butene, 1 butene, butene. The type of polymerization is addition polymerization, and its structure 4 carbon. First 2 carbon is having a double bond. First 2 carbon. So A, yes, A is the correct option. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.